Welcome back, everybody. Another week, another build. And as you can see, got our full-size table back. My son had a great birthday, but now we don't have to go on this little 1 foot by 1 foot table to try to put something together. So now we're back to normal. And as you can see up top here, we have our build from last week, which final product great, build experience not so great. You could go watch the previous video to see my true feelings on that one, but we'll give Buildify another chance. So last week's video, we dropped a hint. We'll go ahead and do it right now. And if you follow me on Instagram, you would have saw the silhouette that really gives it away what we're gonna build this week, as well as a thumbnail to this video. So without further delay, that's right, we have the Speed Champions F40. And this is one of those cars that I have loved ever since I was a kid. You know, of course I love the Countach. I'm starting to date myself here, but I had posters or pictures and I would see them as a kid, but F40 always held a special place. Even with the Enzo, Ferrari, all of the more modern ones that have coming out, this is my dream one. And not because it's like $2-3 million for one of these things, but I just absolutely love them. They're raw. There's you look inside, you just see the carbon Kevlar interior. It's like your bare bones driving experience. And anybody out there that has one that doesn't mind giving me a ride, located out in Florida, let me know. Just being near one would be amazing. This is one of those cars that I've never seen in real life. I've seen Bugatti Chirons, Veyrons, the MC12 or MC120 Maseratis. I've been up and close to those because of where I live, but F40 is one that I'm lacking. Anyways, back to the point. This Speed Champion is one I'm looking forward to. I believe I had an earlier version that I built. This is the more modern Speed Champions where there are a bit more pieces, a little bit bigger, which I kind of like because it allows LEGO to do a lot more detail with them. And I do have quite a few Speed Series in reserve because, as I mentioned before, love cars, big automotive enthusiast, and this one, as soon as I saw it hit the shelves, I bought it and it's been sitting and waiting this whole time. So I cannot wait to get back into this one. Now, as we take a look, we got the nice, driving. Wish I was driving this on a mountain range. And then we come back, we get the nice little picture of it. And I am looking forward to this. Another good thing, doesn't look like there will be a lot of stickers. Curious if this one will be actually printed on here. But as I mentioned before, a lot of Speed Champions to come, but this is a good one to kick off with. So let's build. We have the box open. It looks like we're 4 total bags. Like I said in the previous build, it's nice that LEGO separates it into manageable little chunks. We got all 4 here. We got the main body, well, not the main body, but the cockpit where everybody's gonna sit. I know it's not the right terminology for a vehicle, but it's where they're gonna sit. And we got our 2 choice of wheels. We're going old school. Don't need the modern stuff. And to my dismay, stickers. Lots of stickers. I was kind of hoping we'd be pre-printed, but we won't get into that. So as you can see, I'll be going very carefully using the light above me as well as against the white here to try to line them up with the reflection and shininess. Like I mentioned, I think in my Back to the Future video on how I like to apply stickers and try to get them straight as we can. Fortunately, it doesn't look like any of them that carry over. Some Speed Champions, they'll have a stripe go through the car and it'll be on 4 different pieces, but because of the, almost like the overspray of the sticker, you get a gap in between them. So your choice is either shove them close together or have them shift this way or that way. It's hard to get it without a gap to make it a nice solid line. So it doesn't look like this uses that or I have to worry about it, which is nice. We have our book, like usual, 100 pages, till she can drive her F40. And this one is 318 pieces, so shouldn't take long at all. I imagine it'll be a lot shorter than the Ghost build, just because LEGO pieces tend to fit better. And the instructions are in a booklet, not in a giant pamphlet, so you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Anyways, let's get this thing built. So this is pretty cool. Usually when they put a gear shifter in the LEGO sets, it's just a solid color, whether it's gray, black, or whatever color. This one, they took the time to put a nice polished top to it, kind of like you'd find in the gated manuals in the F40, although it would be all, you know, was it billet aluminum or whatever they machined it out of. But that's pretty cool. I like that they did that, and nice little touch. I love it. Bag 1 is complete. 9 minutes, 16 seconds. Pretty quick bag. Starting to build the rear end on this thing. There's the front, gated manual. You kind of see the floor mats and seats coming together. And I'm assuming what's going to be a nice little engine bay in there. And I can't wait to build this. Pretty quick bag. Feels good to come back to LEGO after building a difficult set that the pieces don't really align or connect that well. And then how silky smooth these ones come back in. Holding nice and tight. Not as tight as Blue Bricks. We found that out, but still tight nonetheless. Only comment I have really on this is with the sticker. You can maybe see it in that light. Not really sure. But the red on the sticker is a slightly brighter red than the red on the piece. Could be mine, could be how it printed for my set, but it stands out a little bit. I wish it was the exact same color so it just smooths right in, especially when you have a sticker. You know, you have a little thin layer that you could see the edges because it's a different color red. But other than that, love it. Like I mentioned earlier, love that they took the time to paint the top of the gated manual right here. And let's get back on to bag 2. Now, before we go into the time lapse of bag 2, I forgot to mention quite a few spare pieces. Forgot to grab my little bag that I always like to show how many pieces you got left or can expect to have left. See? Decent amount of spare pieces. I was kind of surprised on the first bag being as small as it is that there's this many, which is great. It's always good to have spare pieces. But this is already twice as many as the Ghost shell that had 4 left over, and more than the nearly 1,200 piece Asgard ship I built in the previous week. So, LEGO, a little more generous with extra pieces, but all in all, you should be careful anyways and try not to knock them off the table. That's also why I use a white tabletop, as you'll see in the overhead, so that way you can see the pieces a little bit better in case any get out of range of my eyes. So, let's build. Page 35, bag 2, and a couple comments. One, I love that they have the 1x1 stacked too high, built into one piece, no longer trying to make sure every piece is perfectly straight on all sides, because that was annoying as can be back in the day. And 2, with the door, usually Speed Champions have you attach it or connect in some way. This time, just using this piece here, right there. And that connects your door. I guess less pieces, quicker, easier to do. Porsche Ferrari mentality of less weight. Maybe there's weight savings in this set. I don't know. But that was new to me. Could be late to the party. Let's keep building. Bag 2 is done. 13 minutes 9 seconds, and you get the back half of the F40 starting to be put together. I gotta say, I like this piece right, where am I hitting? Right there. It sits in so nice, so flush with it. I love when LEGO makes these little pieces that you can see how flush and nice it sits in there. Looks really good. And, of course, we have the engine bay, we have the engine cover sitting here. Everything's looking nice. One note on these, only this top piece is actually going to connect into the bottom. I tried, just by habit of making sure pieces are pushed down, I pushed the whole thing. This bottom part snapped off because there's no connectors underneath here. It's just this top piece that connects in, and that's it. So just a note. I accidentally broke it the first time I put it in, had to put it back together and slot it back in there. But we're looking good. Not too much time. Like I said, 13 minutes, 9 seconds. I think that puts us roughly almost at 23 minutes for first 2 bags. So definitely might be an under an hour type thing, but looking good. Let's move on to bag 3. Step 66. We have stickers for the headlights, the pop-up headlights. As you'll notice, sticker number 6 and sticker number 10 are pretty much flush against each other. So just think about that when you put that on here. You don't want to put it in the middle of the piece knowing this square has to be connected underneath it. So what I did, I threw them all the way to the bottom edge, and then when I create the pieces that go with sticker 10, I'm going to put those flush all the way to the top, and then it should look like one smooth headlight assembly. That's the hope, at least. We'll see how it goes. And that is bag 3. We got the front end on here. Start with the headlight assembly. And we're starting to see this car come together. Coolest thing I thought was how these doors, since they weren't directly connected to anything, how they were going to attach. And what LEGO did with keeping them loose and then pushing these like little prong pieces in there to fold them in, genius. Because not only does it secure the doors, but it also gives it that classic F40 kind of block, wedge kind of intake, airflow vents that you see on them. As you can see from the top there, it gives you kind of a better view of what the doors do. And I really like that. I think that's a really cool trick. So far, really enjoying this build. It's always cool to build the really big things and all the pieces and see it come together. But sometimes the little things are just as satisfying. And each step I get through this, I could see them getting closer and closer to the end. Can't wait to have her hop in her new F40. Must be nice. And drive this thing around. I'm sure my kids, especially my youngest when he sees this, he's going to want to take this around for a spin as well. Hopefully won't knock off any spoilers or the windshield. But hey, that's what Legos are for. Not just display. You can play with them. It's all good. Total time on that was 14 minutes, 13 seconds. And now, move on to bag 4. Alright, she's done. We got our LEGO Speed Champions Ferrari F40. Honestly, this is probably one of my favorite sets I've seen. Besides the fact that I absolutely love this car, this is probably one of my favorite sets. It helps that the Ferrari F40 is already kind of blocky looking because it's from that era. So LEGO pieces match really well when building this, especially when you compare it to some of the other more complex Pagani sets that they look similar, but it can't capture the roundness because it's Legos. They're blocks. Overall, this was a very easy set to build. Each step had a few pieces. Sometimes it had a number like 10 or so you had to put together, but for the most part, it's a couple pieces at a time, straightforward. You're really ripping through all the pages. And of course, had to go with the classic wheel set. You You have to with this kind of thing, especially the F40. Bag 4, 11 minutes, 18 seconds. Overall time, just under 48 minutes. Not bad at all for everything. Putting stickers on, putting this together. The whole thing was a pleasure to build because the pieces went in easily. Unlike last week. If you want to know that one, check out my last video and you'll get why I say it that way. Pieces hold on pretty good, nice and tight. Not blue bricks tight, but tight nonetheless. And overall, it's just a great looking, well, if I don't break it, well, see, it held together. Overall, a great looking car. Absolutely love it. Interesting that they used what looks like ice cream scoopers for the side mirrors. And of course, she's enjoying her new F40. Wish I could be driving my new F40. Well, new to me. The only problem is, when you put her hair on, you can see it's a little too big. Even with her kind of leaning back, let's see. Her head's still keeping it from fully closing. I may have to swap out a helmet on her to get her in racing gear, but love it. Like the placement of the stickers. Only gripe with the stickers was they're slightly different color red than the actual pieces. They have a bit of a metallic flake to them, whereas the pieces are just straight red. So there's you can notice it a little bit. Also, the front here, I took all that time to get these top pieces all the way down, so whatever was underneath could be flush up against it. And LEGO completely trolled me and used this solid piece that goes all the way across, so no matter how good I think I got it, it's not going to line up and it's not going to be nice and flush. I mean, it lines up the best I can, as you can see, like that. Kind of did the best I could. Not too bad, but you can see some are slightly off, and you know, what can you do? I tried. So it'll be there for me to look at forever. And this will be a nice addition to my collection. Maybe in the 10th video I put out, we'll do a garage tour of all my Speed Champions and LEGO cars, because I am a car fanatic. Absolutely love the Speed series. And I can't wait to actually build more, because I have quite a few more that I need to put together. Great for the videos. And for next week's video, let's go ahead and drop that hint right about now. Alright, and if you liked what you saw here today, you see the kind of builds I'm putting together, if you're enjoying it, drop comments in there. I try to respond to all the comments I get. Drop a like, click the bell, subscribe, you know, whatever floats your boat. I'm doing this for fun, so the more people that join along, the better, because hey, you know, LEGO building is a great community to be a part of. And I'm finding on, especially Instagram, hit me up there with your builds. On Instagram, I'm finding other fellow builders that are connecting, and they're doing amazing stuff as well. And I can't wait to get to the next build. So keep on building, and I'll see you in the next one.